So once again, many people have joined the class right now. So the module 2 is a directing and controlling. I'm just repeating once again. So for an internal point of view, maybe I'll try to cover till here, till motivation theories. So because you might get an important questions on explain any one of the motivation theories. There are three motivation theories that you need to understand. That is a part of directing and controlling. Clear? So first of all, what is the meaning of directing? So here is a outline. So in the outline, maybe if there are more things we'll not see, only with the syllabus point of view we'll see what is meaning and nature of directing. What is first definition of a directing, meaning and nature of directing? It is a theoretical part. Leadership styles, what are the different types of leadership styles we have? Then we have few of the motivation theories. So in the same order, what is the meaning and nature of directing, leadership styles, and we have a motivation theories. So in fact, if you say what is a direction, it is a one of the way that a person has to follow. So directing meaning, basically it is taking an action to motivate the people and help them to do set of activities, right? So in this chapter you will understand what is leadership and how to motivate people, and what are the few of the theories that is being followed to motivate, and what is the meaning of coordination, and how the coordination could be achieved. So what are the various principles of direction that we'll try to see here. So these are all the definitions of direction. Direction includes giving the orders, right? Instruction, guiding, so in turn motivating, all these things. So what was the nature and characteristics of what is the nature and characteristics, nature of characteristics of direction? So it is a dynamic function. So how does the manager will direct? That is providing directions, motivate and lead his subordinates. So hence it is a dynamic function. And direction, it is a initiate, it initiates an action, right? What action to be performed? So this is a nature and characteristics. If the question is nature and characteristics of a direction, as I said, I'm just stressing on this point. First, meaning and nature of directing. First you have to write the definition. And nature of directing, it is a dynamic function. It initiates an action, and it is a universal function. Okay, universal function means it is being utilized in all the organization. Every human association, wherever we have a human association uh, towards achieving towards a common goal, we have a this function called direction. So it is a universal function in order to motivate, supervise, right? So in order to follow all these points we need a direction. Hence it is a complex dynamic function, it initiates an action, and it is a universal function. Similarly, it provides necessary link between various managerial functions. These are all the important characteristics of direction. It is concerned with human relationship. Okay, so we'll not go with the principle. Nature and characteristics of, sorry, nature of directing, meaning and nature of directing. Directly we'll go to the leadership styles. So principle of directing, maybe I don't want to go with that. So the second topic I have come, leadership styles. In fact, somewhere if they ask you these concept, maybe it is better to remember, because if the question is, though the syllabus is same specified, for example, meaning and nature of directing, so we have followed only this meaning and nature of directing. If they ask you what are the principles of directing, then you have to understand these things, right? Though it has not specified in the syllabus, and what are the elements of directing. So this is also an examination question that is being asked previously, but since it is not being specified in the syllabus, I'm just stressing on those topics that are there in the syllabus. So meaning, you have to write the definition. Nature of directing, you have to write the nature. So the same thing has been specified in the notes also. Then directly coming to the what are the leadership styles. So first, what is leadership, and we have to follow the various importance of leadership, and what are the various styles of leadership styles. Okay, so first, try to understand, it is an ability to influence people towards accomplishment of the goals. So it is called leadership. So what are the importance of leadership, it is being directed here. So leaders guide and inspire subordinates. It builds the confidence. So these are all the importance of leadership. This is important. What are the different types of leadership styles we have? Okay, this is an important, maybe with respect to the diagram you have to specify. Let me see whether diagram has been given or not. In the notes I have given a diagram for leadership styles, because there are three leadership styles. Okay, the three leadership styles are autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. Okay, so if specifically one is asked, you should be able to explain this, because leadership styles, a specific topic is being given. Clear? So autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. In the case of autocratic style, leader takes the decision basically here. He is the dominating person in autocratic type of leadership. He expects the expectation from the subordinates to simply follow the rules and regulations and the commands given by him. Frankly speaking, there is no scope for the team decision making here. That is like I don't say that it is a dictatorship, but the thing is that leader expects his only rules and regulations to be followed. There is no scope for the team decision making. In fact, maybe it create a loss of creativity and freedom of the expression. It's the same thing what I said. They never like to delegate their power for their fear, saying that they may lose their power. So this is one of the kind of leadership. So we don't say as the word dictator. So the merits and demerits of the leadership styles we have. So merits and demerits. It might increase the efficiency, save time. We may have a good results. Demerits. Demerits, as I said, there is no scope for freedom of speech. The same thing has elaborated. One-way communication without feedback, in the sense, so there is no chance for a feedback from the another person, from the opponent. and obviously there is no input from his subordinates for the decision that he has taken. Okay, so definitely it is dangerous in current dynamic environment, because if we look into the world where there is always a two-way communication. Even if you consider in any system, maybe it is a education system or other finance systems, so there should be good coordination between the two people, then only we could proceed further towards achieving the goal. So let me go to the democratic leadership. This, as the name itself indicates, what is a democratic style. That is, it is a democratic or participative leadership. It involves the subordinates, peers, superiors, and other stakeholders in the decision making process. Okay, rather than taking the decisions on his own, everyone have a chance to take a decision. In the case of a democratic leadership, the people who involved in decision making here have the opportunity to express their opinions in order to influence the leader. There is a chance to exploit the creative skills and can be motivated for decision making process. Okay, so it is same as if like democratic, of the people, by the people, and for the people. So everyone have a chance to take a decision. So these are all the points. The leader shows a greater concern for his people's interest, ready to defend their subordinates individually and collectively. It is also called as a participative leadership. So basically, this is a second leadership style. We have autocratic, we have democratic, and we have laissez-faire. So what are the merits and demerits of a democratic leadership? So merits: leadership encourages people to develop and grow. It receives information and ideas from its subordinates to make decisions. Definitely, it boosts the morale of the employee. As I said, the peoples are involved in decision making here. What are the demerits? Some leaders may use these styles as a way of avoiding responsibility. This is the demerits of democratic systems. And when you talk about a time, it is more time consuming because all have a chance to take a decision. So people can take enormous amount of time for making decisions. So let me go to the third leadership styles. Free rein leadership, or it is also called as laissez-faire. Once again I repeat, so this is the third type of leadership styles. In fact, basic divisions we have is three divisions, that is autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. So maybe there is one more called bureaucratic, but maybe with syllabus point of view I don't want to involve. So if time permits, we'll go with bureaucratic also. What is laissez-faire or a free rein leadership? So laissez-faire, it is a French phrase. The laissez-faire means leave it be, that is leave as it is, and it is used to describe a leader who leaves his colleagues to get on with their work. Clear? So once again, it is a French phrase. It is used to describe a leader who leaves his colleagues to get on with their work. He is not bothered. He is trustworthy on his subordinates or the colleagues to get on to the work. Intentionally, little control is exercised by the free rein leader over his subordinates to allow them a high degree of freedom. Right? In fact, this type of style is preferred when the leader is fully confident about the capabilities of his subordinates. Remember, when we have an environment where we have a full confidence that the leader is capable of doing the that is subordinate is capable of doing the his responsibilities. In that case, we have full confidence. The leader has a full confidence about the capabilities about his subordinates, so in setting his goals and achieving the goals. So however, the leader communicates regularly with his subordinates to provide them what all the advices and resources as when needed. Okay. Same thing, leadership is employee centered. They are free to establish their own goals. So here is a graphical representation related to autocratic, democratic, and free reign, plotting about the use of authority. So before I start motivation, I'll just go with the definition of a motivation. So as I said, this module is a very simple module regarding directing and controlling. The first topic is definition and nature of direction. Then we have a leadership styles. There we have to go through all the three leadership styles, and we have motivation theories. So till here, maybe I'd like to keep it for internal motivation theories. Time permits, if I complete also, maybe till here it will be an important topic for you for internal. So motivation is a next topic, and we have three theories to be studied. So this I would take one more sessions for motivation and to explain what are the Maslow's, Husberg's, and other theories of motivation. So basically, these two important are the important theories, Maslow's and Husberg's. That is repetitive asked. There are many other theories also. So we'll focus on only the Maslow's and Husberg's theories of motivation. So very easy theories we have. So with that, next we have communication. This is also part of a direction. Remember one more thing, what is direction? Direction consists of all these topics: meaning, nature, leadership comes under direction, motivation comes under direction. Okay. Communication comes under direction. Coordination is a separate topic. Coordination. Okay. Meaning, controlling comes under coordination. Okay. So all of you can give the attendance in the chat session. Those who have not given can give the attendance in the chat session.